Our environmental impact reporting takes us to Salisbury, Maryland. That's the home of Perdue Farms, familiar to you as one of the nation's biggest producers of chicken.
But now Perdue is at the epicenter of a developing environmental contamination crisis at one of the company's landmark plants. New information obtained by WUSA 9 reveals hundreds of wells are now contaminated, with some residents complaining of illnesses, including cancer.
Yeah, so Perdue is urgently installing filtration systems to protect its neighbors. Here's environmental impact reporter Scott Broom in Salisbury.
I have new data provided by Perdue after I started asking the company questions about groundwater contamination here at the company's landmark agribusiness plant on Zion Church Road outside Salisbury.
All of our houses had some kind of contamination.
45-year-old Rachel Cheney lives about a half mile from the plant.
These are all my meds I take on a daily basis. I mean, who takes this many meds?
And new testing done by Perdue shows the wells on her properties and hundreds of others nearby have levels of the so-called forever chemical PFAS that exceed the EPA's standard for human health. The EPA reports PFAS is linked to increased risk of cancers as well as hormone and immune system disorders. It never leaves the body.
We've had a lot, and it keeps coming at us.
And Rachel is sick with asthma, a blood disorder, autoimmune problems, and she's survived intrauterine cancer. Her son and daughter, now in their 20s, grew up drinking the water here. Rachel says they too have long histories of hormone and autoimmune-related illnesses. Her father and mother also sick. The source of all the illnesses is a medical mystery, but Rachel now suspects the pollution.
It's my home. I know my neighbors. And I know that they're suffering just as much as we are, and I think that hurts even more, is to see my neighbors suffer just as much as I am, and knowing that there's not a whole lot that we can do about it.
According to the Maryland Department of Environment and Perdue, PFAS pollution has been detected at the plant at more than 342 times the level the EPA says is acceptable for human health. MDE and Perdue say the contamination was first discovered in wastewater here in 2023, kicking off an investigation supervised by MDE that eventually determined a plume of polluted water underground was migrating toward nearby subdivisions. A testing area now includes at least 920 homes. On April 24th, Perdue reported to WUSA 9 that with 97% of the testing now complete, 356 homes have turned up with contaminated wells.
This is the actual, shed system for the filter.
Perdue is responding by urgently installing expensive filtration systems in all impacted homes, distributing bottled water to anybody in the testing area that requests it. The company is urging its neighbors to sign up for testing, and it's launched a community resource website. Drew Getty is the Vice President of Environmental Sustainability for Perdue, who says the source of the PFAS is likely from a spill of firefighting foam in 2019.
Our goal is to be transparent, is to share information, with the community, as we have it.
But a class action lawsuit has been filed against Perdue, accusing the company of failing to notify residents for nearly a year after first discovering the pollution. Chase Brockstedt is one of the attorneys on the case. Rachel is a client.
We know before we got involved for more than a year, they didn't even warn the public not to drink the water in their wells.
There weren't any standards for drinking water levels until April of 2024.
PFAS is discovered in September of 2023, but the public isn't notified until much later. Why is that?
We saw a variety of different levels. And then we also needed to understand, okay, we have it on our site, but is it moving? That involved, working with MDE to drill additional test wells.
According to a statement from MDE, this wasn't about delay. It was about getting the facts straight, making sure the science supported our next steps, and then moving quickly to ensure a safe solution. That proactive work is what led to real protections today.
What's next for you all?
We'll probably be moving out of this area. It's been hard on everybody, and it doesn't just go away. It stays in your body. In my autopsy report, I'm sure it will be found.
In Salisbury, Maryland, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.